Hi guys, are we ready? Clerks? Fire chief? Good morning. Today is Tuesday, December 13th, and this is the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District Board. And first off, we will do a salute to the flag. And Mr. Ide Bailey, can you lead us in that, please?
I'm not sure I'm experienced enough.
You can do it.
Sorry, okay. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Kitty Jung, Chair.
Present.
Bob Lucy, Vice Chair.
Here.
Marsha Burke-Bigler.
Here.
Von Hartung.
Here.
Jeannie Herman.
Here.
Charlie Moore, Chief.
Present.
David Watsfield, Deputy District Attorney.
Here.
It's easy for me to say. And I'm Jan Galasini, Chief Deputy Clerk. Yep, Madam, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there any public comment?
There is no public comment at this time.
Thank you. Chief Moore?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 4 is the consent items, and I just want to mention that minutes were distributed this morning as they were not ready by the time we had board packets. So if you need just a moment to review minutes, that would certainly be acceptable.
Motion to approve the consent agenda, Madam Chair?
Second. I have a motion by Hartung, a second by Burke-Bigler. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
can you call for public?
Oh, any public comment? Thank
There
you.
is no public comment.
Thanks. Mr. Fire Chief?
Item number 5 is a presentation by the EMS Advisory Board, presented by Christina Conti.
Good morning. I want to thank you for the opportunity to give you an update on how your program is doing and what we're doing in the community. A quick reminder of who we are. So my name is Christina Conti, for the record, and then for this presentation, I'm the program manager for the EMS Oversight Program. And since the last time I came to see you, I absorbed another program, so I also do the public health preparedness for our region and oversee that program. So I'd like to introduce Brittany Dayton. She is the EMS coordinator. Heather Kerwin is our EMS statistician. And new from this slide, we have Jackie Lawson. She's brand new to our program, been with the county for several years, but she is supporting both the EMS program and the public health preparedness program. So here's your program. Thank you. A quick refresher of the interlocal agreement. So in August, it was fully executed, and it created the EMS Oversight Program, which is our program, as well as the EMS Advisory Board. And really, the fundamental thing is it changed for the health district's oversight from compliance to really system performance. And then it allowed the data collection for all the regional partners so that we can see how the region is doing as a whole. The District Board of Health has the ultimate authority with the interlocal agreement. We also, within it, have the duties defined for our program. There's 8 duties that your council was instrumental in defining for our program that we work to achieve every year. And then it defined the duties of the signatories. The EMS Advisory Board is comprised of the managers from the political jurisdictions, the district health officer, and then 2 District Board of Health appointments. One is the emergency room physician, that's Dr. Andrew Michelson, he's with St. Mary's. And then Terry Ward, who's the continuous quality improvement representative, and she's at Northern Nevada Medical Center. The purpose of the advisory board, just to refresh your recollection, is to provide a concurrent review of the topic. So really that's the board where the weeds should be enjoyed, and they can get through all the
January 1st.
right. Yeah, so they can really get into what different changes are and what the recommendations are and ask all the different questions, and then make the recommendations that it go up to either the respective councils or the District Board of Health. And so, for example, whenever I present before the District Board of Health now, it is expected that I will have gone before the EMS Advisory Board first, and it should be noted in the previous action to make sure that that chain of command is being followed. And so this is really just a visual of what that organizational chart looks like. So we report to the EMS Advisory Board and then District Board of Health, who has that direct relationship with your board through Ms. Young. So the accomplishments of the region for fiscal year 15-16 is the revision of the ambulance response map. That was effective in July. A revision of the multi-casualty incident plan, also effective in July, and the development of Omega protocols, again, effective in July. We participated in developing a regional annex to the statewide medical surge plan, and what is impressive about that is it's not just Washoe County, it's actually the border counties that surround us. So if we have an emergency within Washoe County, we can actually go outside to Carson or Douglas or Story or any of those border counties and have a plan in place for that. We achieved the Heart Safe designation, so I would encourage you to be on the lookout for the announcements that we're going to be doing with that. And then the strategic plan development, which we'll review in depth in a minute. The annual report, we produced a fiscal year data report. This is just a little highlight for you. You can find them on pages 13 through 15. The median response times from the time a citizen called 911 until a fire first responder arrived was 6 minutes, 55 seconds. This is all calls. And then REMSA's arrival would be 7 minutes and 19 seconds. I would have you note that that's for all calls. So priority one call had a difference of 10 seconds. What you see above there is that we had a little over 45,000 calls for service that matched between a fire partner and REMSA. So that is not all the calls for service in this region. That is the ones where both a fire and a REMSA response were had for that citizen. Again, page 13 through 15, you can find that information. The other thing to note with that annual report is that we changed it up this year, and you will find the accomplishments of our regional partners written in there, and we took what they submitted and just put it in the format so it is their successes in their own words and what they felt were successful for the fiscal year. So I would encourage you to take a look at what Truckee Meadows put in there. The EMS 5-year strategic plan is one of the duties that you guys gave to us as part of the oversight program, is the facilitation of that. I'm going to just walk you through that, give you a quick tour of the document so that you know what the region will be working on for the next 5 years. This went and was approved by the EMS Advisory Board meeting October 7th, and then it went to the District Board of Health the 27th of October. Taking a quick moment to let you know the development process, we started with a SWOT analysis. So strengths and weaknesses were what was internal for Washoe County. Opportunities and threats were external to us. So the working group got together in August of 2015. It was run by Manager Steve Driscoll with City of Sparks. He's well accomplished with his strategic planning. And then he provided mentoring sessions to me monthly, which I found incredibly valuable and which allowed us to create this document. We had monthly meetings with stakeholders. So for Washoe County, Truckee Meadows specifically, Alex Kukulis was a representative who came every month, and we really appreciated his time. We also had Clay Griffin from Dispatch, and then Sean Taylor from Communications. So we tried to have every piece at the table at all times. We also provided quarterly updates to the EMS Advisory Board, so at any part throughout along the way, if there were any changes to be made, they had the opportunity to do so. The mission statement is coordinating the delivery of efficient and effective emergency medical services to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of Washoe County through collaboration with the EMS providers. And our vision to accomplish that would be providing high-quality patient care through collaborative efforts and integrated healthcare, providing evidence-based pre-hospital medicine exceeding the expectations of the community. The regional values are what was agreed upon by our stakeholders, that this is really what we find to be the most valuable things in our profession and in this region that we want to make sure that we deliver. The next slide, if you can just kind of hit it one at a time, so if you want to do the next one. So as we go through the document, you're gonna see that there's a goal on the top, and that's really, we have 6 overarching goals for the region that we would like to achieve. Go ahead. The next you'll find are the objectives, and those are what we really felt like were the key components to meet that goal. And then the next part would be the strategies, and those were the individual steps to meet the objective, to meet the goal. So on page 11, if you wanted to follow along with me, this is goal 1, enhancing utilization of EMS resources by matching the appropriate services. The components of this would be the Omega protocols and the alternative transportation options. Goal 2 is the improvement of pre-hospital EMS performance by reducing system-wide response times, again, through use of technology. So the components in here would be automatic vehicle locator utilization, the ambulance response map, mutual aid agreements, and the definition of the EMS Tier 1 response measurement. If you can go back on 2 for a second. I want to point out that the reason that the Tier 1 response is what is being requested to be defined is because Tier 2, which is the ambulance, is already defined in the ambulance response map, so that doesn't need any clarification or definition. Goal 3 on page 15 is improving communications between EMS partners through enhanced usage of technology. You have enhanced radio communications, CAD-to-CAD interface, and AVL visualization for the EMS vehicles. You'll notice that AVL finds itself in 2 different goals, and it's a different utilization of AVL between the 2 different goals. Goal 4 on page 16 would be the improvement of continuity of care through regional processes. So we're looking at electronic patient care reporting, and then really enhancing our annual report to include healthcare data. And new from our last presentation that's very exciting is we met with the state, and we will be receiving patient outcome data, trauma to start with, but it's a start, and it's very exciting. So we can start looking at least the trauma patients from the 911 call all the way through disposition. So it was a big win that we just had. Goal 5 on page 17 is to design an enhanced EMS response system through effective regional protocols and quality assurance. The components of that would be regional protocols and a regional continuous improvement process. Every organization has a QI process internally. This would allow the region to QI together and learn from each other. Goal 6 has a lot to do with our program, which is continue collaborative models with regional EMS agencies. And so the components of this would be the coordination and reporting on the strategic objectives so that the region always has the voice as to what we're doing, and then promoting our program through regional education, coming to you guys twice a year to tell you what the region is doing instead of the once a year catch-up. So we also built in a revision process, which is starting in October of 2018. I will get back together with those stakeholders and start looking at what we want to do for the remaining 2 years, or the next 2 years, which would be 2022 and 2023, so that we would always have a 5-year plan available to us. The objectives that we're currently working on that have an impending completion date I wanted to bring to your attention. The determination of data elements for process verification of the Omega protocols, and the finalization of the MAP methodology for revisions. You'll notice that those due dates have passed. We have a drafted, or had, I should say, a drafted response for both of those, but we hadn't gone to the boards yet for approvals, and so we're just finalizing those, and those should be done by the end of this month. The jurisdictional fire response measurement, the development of the regional protocols, we're currently working with a contractor, and tomorrow's the first day that they're going to get together with the PMAC members, which is Pre-Hospital Medical Advisory Committee, and those are comprised of the EMS partners' medical directors. And so they're going to start reviewing the document that was provided to them, and then the establishment of the CAD-to-CAD interface between the PSAP and REMSA, and that's currently ongoing. So I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to come before you and share with you what we're doing in this region, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Conti. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Hartung?
No, go to.
Okay, Commissioner Berkeley?
No questions. I was just going to say, I'm assuming jurisdictional fire response measurement is really 3/31 of 17 and not 07?
There's an error on your slide.
There's an error on the slide.
Sad.
No problem, but just for your information.
Yes,
Commissioner
there
Hartung?
also is a missing Y on Brittany.
Uh-oh, good report.
Great report.
Very good report.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the median response times, Ms. Conti, does that include the best effort areas? Is that everywhere in the service area?
It is. We don't have a best effort area anymore,
Oh.
but yes, it is. It does include all calls. And so it could be broken out if there were specific areas of interest that you wanted to look at what those response times looked like. We call them special interest area, but this is for those median times, and the annual report is for all calls for service.
Okay, so there, we don't have a best effort area, so down in Washoe Valley or some places up in the Mount Rose corridor or Wadsworth or Spanish Springs, those are not constituted as best effort now.
Not anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks. Chief Moore?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 6 and 7, with your permission, they're the TM and Sierra Fire Protection District audits, and if I may, just combine both of those since they seem to be interrelated. I'd like to introduce Felicia O'Carroll and Dan Carter, who are here from Ide Bailey, in the event that you want to drill down to the mind-numbing detail of the audit. Otherwise, otherwise, I'm going to do my best in summarizing the overview. I'm very, very pleased with where we're at as in a financial position. I don't know that we could be stronger. We are in such a good position financially. I'm very, very proud to say that that's a result of you as commissioners to guide us on service level. It's partly in relationship with 3895 and that they're good partners with us, that they understand that we need to be financially sustainable in the short term and the long term, and they're good partners with us on that. And finally, with administrative staff of being good stewards of the budget. So I think all those things combined are really why we're in such a good spot. So I'll start with, I probably should read the agenda items into the record just to be formal. So item number 6 is review and acceptance of the Sierra Fire Protection District's audited financial statements for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2016. And item number 7, review and acceptance of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District's audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2016. As you know, this is the last really official action of Sierra Fire Protection District. Now that we're consolidated, we're doing the final audit for Sierra, and Truckee Meadows Board of Fire Commissioners are authorized through that consolidated agreement. You're authorized to accept, of course, the Sierra Fire District audit, and that will really be your last official action for Sierra Fire. For TM, our total general fund revenues were $26,630,645, while our expenses were $24,435,890. So this resulted in an increase in our net position of $2,194,755, which is a fancy way of saying we were that much under budget. Our general fund balance, though, the really good news for fiscal year 15-16 is $10,619,291, and that represents an ending fund balance of almost 48%. But that anticipates that we're a growing region. We have still additional capital to do. We want to do a little bit with salary and benefits, of course, with our labor who do such a good job for us. And we also want to take a look at what may be necessary in additional firefighters and additional staff for us in the future to be able to handle the service load that we expect is going to increase as we get more buildings and more people here in the region. So that's certainly a very healthy fund balance, and still lots of capital to do. I don't mean this to be a budget presentation, but we know that we still have Hidden Valley to do. Eventually, we need to replace Station 17 in Spanish Springs. We always have ongoing needs for rolling stock. And we're looking at actually balancing the number of engine companies in the north and the south. Right now, we have 6 in the south and we have 5 in the north. But in the north, we have the majority of our fires. So part of that fund balance, we anticipate making recommendations in the new budgets for adding an additional engine company in the north and Sun Valley and having that station be a two-company station. And then we also added $4 million we're transferring to capital projects in anticipation of construction of the new Station 14. And the highlights of Sierra Fire, its general fund balance at the end of the year was $2,096,972. That was an increase of 15% from the previous year. Total general fund expenditures were $6,849,555, of which $6,681,780 was a payment to TM FPD for the administration and operations. So total expenditures were under budget by $699,337, or by about 10%. And so at the end of the fiscal year for Sierra Fire, that ending fund balance was then transferred to TM FPD. So that also accounts for the perhaps the significant amount of ending fund balance that we now enjoy because of that transfer over to Sierra Fire. So again, I'm very, very pleased. If you have questions you'd like to get down into a little more detail, our auditors are certainly here to be able to answer questions.
Great. Any questions? Do you want to go on record at all? Do you need to for formality? Okay. All right, well then I would entertain a motion to accept the Sierra Fire Protection District's audit. That's item number 6.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Burke-Bickler, second by Hartung. Any public comment?
There is no public
All
comment.
right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. The next is item 7, acceptance of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District's audit.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Lucy, second by Hartung. Any public comment?
There is no public comment.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion also carries unanimously. Thank you very much for being here, and thanks for leading us in the salute to the flag. You know, I noticed on this agenda, we don't have the 3895 update. Did that fall off?
And nor do we have a chief's report, so in the interest of the holidays and a short agenda, I
okay.
did that on purpose, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
thank you, thanks. I didn't notice. That takes us to item 8. Do you have any announcements?
I have no announcements, Madam Chair.
Anybody need a future agenda item?
Not a future agenda item. I just wanted to mention that we did participate in Fire Ops 101 again this year. It is a kill the commissioner routine.
It is.
No, this year they made us hike.
Oh, lovely.
And gave me oversized pants and boots.
That might have been initiate the commissioner.
It truly was. I felt like a rapper. They were down around. It was rather a funny sight. I'm surprised you didn't get a picture
I didn't.
sent. But it was very enjoyable, and they added a wildland section in this year, which is it's really interesting. And it would, you know, you really can't explain how they do it, but it's a very effective way to deal with wildland fires, and the way that their group and their lines work through the issues. It's all about a team effort, and I was very impressed. So thank you for staging it again this year.
Thank you for
Thank you, Madam Chair.
representing us.
We have video evidence to
Oh,
bring
good, I
next
want to see
month.
it. Anybody else have any other questions or announcements? Well, any public comment?
There is no public comment.
We are adjourned. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Commissioners.
Thank you.